Okay, there you go, friends. Doc South here. Looking forward to Christmas of 2024 coming up. Let's see. I know the wife and I, Sandy and I, are heading over to my brother's house, and I guess they're cooking up a storm from what I hear. Boy, that sounds like fun to me. I know Sandy's a good cook. She's a great cook, and Ed's wife, oh man, can she can knock out a pretty good dinner too. So I'm psyched. But you know, there was a Christmas once where I couldn't eat. Yeah, I could not. You say, Doc, how could that be? You can always eat. I said, well, actually, I'll answer that by saying it's a little hard to eat when your mouth is wired shut. Yeah, I think it was the Christmas, I want to say Christmas of 65. It might have been 66, but no, no, it was 65 for sure. And well, coming home from, rather going back to college from home, right after the Thanksgiving break, I was in one humongous auto wreck, and I've told you about the wreck. It was pretty rough. TR4, that's what we were in, this girl Julia and I, and we hit a 56 Oldsmobile head on. It was a bad wreck, and I sustained all sorts of facial injuries. Yeah, yeah. You say that's why you're so ugly, Doc? Well, yeah, that's one good reason. I definitely got my nose fixed because my nose was a lot longer. Um, it it got quite shortened by the dashboard of Julia's car, um, which, by the way, was a very nice TR4, beautiful car. And but I lived. But to get everything repaired, all the bones in this part of my face got smushed. What they had to do was they had to wire my mouth shut. Yeah, it just like you'd put a fractured arm in a cast. Well, they had to kind of cast up my as best they could. They had to keep my facial bones and my lower jaw steady. And this would have to be for about 5 weeks. They wired my mouth shut. What they did was they put little wires around the strongest teeth, and then like a little tiny girder around the upper portion of the upper part of my mouth and also the lower. And then they secured all that with rubber bands, these real tight rubber bands, and that had my mouth like this. And that's how it was going to be for like, I think it was like 5 weeks. It was a long time. And that, sadly, let's see, if the wreck happened in early December, yeah, I was going to be wired up till sometime in mid-July. January, not July. Oh my God. And all I could do was drink this stuff that was, it was like a health food. Yeah, you mixed it with water. It tasted like chocolate. And I think they had one that tasted like vanilla. And that was the nourishment I got. Nothing else. That or clear soup, like chicken broth, but no noodles. Yeah, I'd have died. I'd have given all I owned for just a mouthful of noodles. But no, it was always chicken broth. You couldn't even put like uh, spices in it because they'd stick to your teeth. Yeah, so it's anything liquid would go through. And the milkshake, this particular kind of milkshake, was about all I could take. Well, of course, Christmas came around, and everyone's eating turkey and ham and knocking down this cookie and that cookie. About the only thing I could do. I eventually learned that there was one little hole where a wisdom tooth had not come through yet. Yeah, and I could take a little piece of a cookie and uh, and stick it through the hole where the tooth was yet to grow. And then I could bounce up and down, and the cookie would fall onto my tongue, and I could at least with my tongue till the cookie dissolved, and I could, with a little drink of that doggone milkshake, I could, I'd at least have it might take me an hour and a half to eat a whole cookie. And it probably wasn't the smartest or safest thing to do. Heaven knows if I put a big enough piece in and choked on it, that might have been bad. Except I carried around my neck a necklace. And you know how when you have a necklace, you have like jewels and stuff at the bottom of the necklace. This was scissors in case I had to cut the rubber bands on holding my teeth together, holding my jaw together. And then I'd have probably caught the devil from the doctor for being so foolish as to try to throw something down the back of my mouth. But I was desperate. I know. It's funny. After the 5 or 6 weeks it was, I went to the doctor, an oral surgeon or whatever, and he cut he says, well, you look like you're in good shape. The bones look like they've knitted. Your cheekbones are good. We're going to cut you out of that frame. What do you say? I said, oh, he said, okay, I got you. And they cut the rubber bands. He says, now open your mouth. And I go, he says, you gotta just open your mouth. What happened was my mouth was the joints had lost all their lubrication. There was the hinge that moves where your jaw attaches. It was all stuck. The doctor says, wait a minute, I got it right here. Wait a minute. And he gets some kind of tool that looked like a reverse of like an egg holder. Yeah. And he said, now watch. And he sticks that right in here. And he goes, and my mouth goes, oh. There was this loud crack and pop. He says, there, it's open. He says it froze. It froze on you. It got all stuck. There's no lubrication. Just keep moving your mouth up and down, like that. He says, there, you should be okay. He says, here, you know what I did? I brought a little box of pretzels. You know those little pretzel sticks? Because I wanted to try a pretzel. I wanted to have something to eat once I was free of my restraints. I said, doctor, I got some pretzels. Can I try one? He says, yeah, go ahead. But he says, you try to move your mouth a little more. I'll be all right. And I put the pretzel on my mouth. I couldn't chew it. I did not have enough strength in my mouth to chew the pretzel, at least at first. After about an hour, I finally was able to at least crunch a pretzel. And Mom at home, I think she had some real soft meatballs and spaghetti for me. Yeah, I think raviolis. I asked her if she could make me some raviolis. So I had raviolis and meatballs. Sausage would have been way too high. It would have been like chewing a steel ingot. But a meatball, I could get that down. And of course, it only took a day or two, and I could eat with the best of them. But it was that was interesting. All I can say is drive carefully, because boy, that getting your darn mouth wired shut. Wow. And actually, I got they still had some left over of whatever that drink was, and I found that I rather liked it. And they said, yeah, drink all you want of that, because it's that plus your food. You'll gain a few pounds and you'll be back to your normal self. So that's what I did, and it reached a point where I was. You ever see like Lucille Ball in I Love Lucy? Remember, sometimes she'd be eating as fast as she could. That's kind of what I was doing, and after a while, it didn't take too long. They weren't calling me Tubby, but at least I was back to normal. At least my belt fit. If I wiggled, my pants didn't fall off. It was nice. It's a good feeling. So my advice to you is to drive carefully. Yes, and don't stand too close to the batter. If you're a catcher, just might want to stay back just a little bit, because boy, you don't want a fractured jaw. Oh man, is that a pain in the butt. Maybe they got better ways to handle it now, but I can't think of a better way. It does hurt. Oh boy. Once they get everything in place, it doesn't hurt. But getting all that knitted back together and such, wow, wow, wow. Ouch. It's the best I can say. But I made it through. Yeah, Lord's Prayer moment. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. So be it. Drive carefully, friends. Okay, and watch out for that black ice. That's all I can tell you. And ooh. But maybe now they got better ways of handling that particular injury, but not back in '65. Oh man, I still think about that and cringe. That was really an interesting. It always, when I did rescue later in life, I always had sympathy for those who were had the head injuries, because boy, that's no picnic whatsoever. Catch you later now. Bye bye.